right. Thank you so much. We're really excited to be here with you today. Want to give a big thanks to the Paulson's team, great partners of ours, and we are excited to just help them any chance that we get, and I should say work with them any chance that we get. So thanks again for letting us tag along here. All right, we are going to talk about why music matters and what that means in the world of Sonos. So let's dig right into it. For starters, though, let's introduce myself. My name is Matt Neumann, and I am the senior national trainer for Sonos. My job is to give you all the skinny, or really anybody the skinny, on what's going on with Sonos. Now, this Music Matters Week, this is near and dear to my heart, and I should say Sonos's heart, because really when Sonos was founded as a company, our founders, it really came from the idea of like, we love music. How do we make music as easy as possible for people to access and to listen to and enjoy? So, yeah, at Sonos, that is our mission. We want to inspire the world to listen better. We believe, gone are the days of complicated setups that take up half of your room to get great sound, to experience, inside of your home. Now we can access the music that we want to access with, really the push of a button on a smart device, and Paulson's can get that set up for you very, very easily. With listening better, it encompasses a couple of things. And what it boils down to is ease of access of your music, having the ability to stream it in multiple, different devices to to listen to music. And at the end of the day, the idea here is making your house your home. We believe that music does that. And we want to deliver brilliant sound your way. Now, brilliant sound, that's pretty self-explanatory, right? Our products have to sound really good, and we spend a lot of time making sure, and a lot of investment to make sure that our products sound incredible, regardless of the category we're trying to fill. But then there's a second part of brilliant sound, and that's your way. One of the things people love about Sonos the most is the ease of use of Sonos. A lot of the times people think, okay, we're talking about wireless and we're talking about speakers, two things that historically people kind of like, our brains kind of went crazy thinking about those two things. But you put those two things together and you think the product would be something very complicated. Well, I'll tell you this, it's not, but doing that, making something very uncomplicated can be very complicated on our end, but it's worth the hard work and effort to make sure that when you get our products inside of your home, they're incredibly easy to use. So we're going to talk a few different points over the course of our next 45 minutes or so here, on your way and what that means. But part of that is filling your home with music. With Sonos, you can have up to 32 of our products on your home's Wi-Fi. That's right, 32 of our products on your home's Wi-Fi. Now, the cool thing is, when we talk about your way, you can have different songs or different audio or different sound playing in different rooms. So maybe in the kitchen you have some music playing while you're cooking, and somebody else is watching TV in the theater room, and then someone else is listening to an audiobook in the bedroom. You can have that experience if you want it. Or you can group everything into what we like to call party mode, where they're all playing the exact same thing at the exact same time, and you can enjoy that sound everywhere. So maybe you're listening to the same song. You have some friends over and you're entertaining, and you want the same thing playing in different rooms. Or maybe you're having a Super Bowl party and your TV audio is coming out of the theater room, and then you have your other Sonos speakers playing your television audio, which is a Super Bowl. So no matter where you're at, if you're in the kitchen grabbing some snacks, you can still hear that home theater sound. So regardless of what you're listening to, podcasts, audiobooks, you can listen to that on Sonos in up to 32 rooms. And really, we have multiple products that over the course of the years, our first product launching in 2005, over the course of the years, we've had many different products to fill many different needs for our customers. And regardless of the needs that you have, you can buy a product from Sonos that is probably going to fill that need in some way, shape, or form. In fact, I can pretty much guarantee it. Now, having different products is part of what we mean by your way. You're not going to look for the same listening experience in every room. In one room, you're going to look for lean back listening, which is what I like to call, those moments where you're leaning back, you're not really looking to hear the details and nuances in the sound. You just want something playing in the background while you're working. Maybe while you have some friends over or barbecue, that sort of thing. That's really where you do a lot of lean back listening. Your chore, cleaning up the house, doing chores. We have different needs and different speakers for those needs, and we have speakers for what I like to call lean in listening, where you're looking for those details and those nuances. Now, another part of your way, that your way portion of the brilliant sound your way, is streaming. And this is really what I love. One of the things I love the most about Sonos is, music matters inside of the home. And what better way to prove that than to give you access to the largest body of streaming services available than any other wireless streaming company. In fact, we have almost 80 streaming services available through Sonos just in the United States alone. Worldwide, that number is over 150 streaming services. That's right. I mean, I bet you if myself, and Emily and Dan and Chris, I bet you if we played a game on how many streaming services we could come up with, I guarantee we couldn't come up with like more than maybe 25 or 30. But there's almost 80 just in the United States alone. Whether you're using, a popular service like Apple Music or Spotify, or maybe one of those niche services like, Rusk, which is a service dedicated to like 1920s old timey radio stations, or Wolfgang, which has basically every live concert, almost, I shouldn't say every, but tons of live concerts since like the 1950s. You can find my dad and I were kicking back one time listening to Aerosmith live in 1976 in DC. I mean, it's crazy the stuff that you can find on there. Muddy Waters and the Fillmore. I mean, just tons and tons of music. But those aren't streaming services you necessarily hear about every day. That doesn't matter to us. At the end of the day, if you're listening to a service, we want you to be able to listen to it through Sonos. And maybe that's, you're listening to your primary service, but maybe you want to experiment with different services. A lot of these different services offer, free trials, right? Maybe you just want to try a service out. You can try a service out through Sonos if you'd like to. So, keep that type of stuff in mind. Whether you're, listening to a big service, a small service, everything in between, we give you the ability to do that listening. And another way we allow you to listen on Sonos is through Sonos Radio. Fun fact, almost half of listening through Sonos happens via radio service. And, the reason for that is because a lot of us, most of our listening is that lean back listening I was talking about earlier. We know our favorite radio station and we want to listen to something in the background, while we're getting chores done. Sorry, I'm not trying to high five you here, just trying to refocus my camera in. Okay. So Sonos Radio, we knew we had to keep that fundamental feature of, choose a channel, choose a station, and the music and love is going to start playing. So whether you grew up in Michigan and you want to listen to your favorite radio station, or maybe you grew up in California and you moved to Michigan for work and you want to listen to your favorite radio station from back home, you can do that through Sonos Radio. Chances are we have that available with tens of thousands of radio stations. Odds are your favorite one is available. As long as it's broadcast digitally, we pretty much have it on Sonos Radio. So we kept that fundamental experience, but we knew that there was still this extra layer of, experience that people are looking for when it comes to radio. So we have these mood listening experiences available to you. And, this really comes from I'll be the first person to raise my hand on this. We've all been in those scenarios where, it's like, I know what I want to listen to, but I'm not exactly sure where to start with that. Maybe I don't know an artist or an album in that genre, or maybe I always listen to those and I'm kind of feeling something different. Well, this is the perfect experience for when you just want to, you want to listen to a genre, you click that genre and music starts playing. For example, one of my favorites is called Sunset Fuzz. The bio advertisement says it's like sunglasses for your ears, which is like perfect, right? It's a perfect way to describe that station. And that's my favorite like style of music, is just really fun, upbeat music that you would want to listen to with the top down, cruising down your favorite scenic highway, right? But I listen to a lot of classical music when I'm working, or jazz music when I'm working. So I can just select this concert hall station. I go in the app, I press concert hall, and classical music starts playing, right? So it's very simple to start listening to the music that you want. And of course, live sports, local stations, news, we have all of that available through Sonos Radio. Now, This is all our free tier, and it comes already on the Sonos app. Whenever you download the Sonos app, you'll see Sonos Radio right there, and you have this experience. It's available to you. It's ad driven, so there are advertisements. You can't skip a track, but it does give you an easy way to listen to music that you would want to listen to. But we a couple months ago announced Sonos Radio HD. Sonos Radio HD is our premier radio tier that is only available on Sonos, and it's $8 a month after, of course, a 30-day free trial, so you can give it a shot. Now, I am a big fan of Sonos Radio HD, and I use Sonos Radio HD a ton. Some benefits of Sonos Radio HD: high definition audio on all of the stations. So you will get high definition audio. We have exclusive content that you'll find on Sonos Radio. Well, we've upped the amount of exclusive content that will be on Sonos Radio. We have live interviews with artists, launching albums, and they'll do sort of like a live Sonos release party where they'll jump on Sonos Radio, talk about their album, play songs from their album, and a lot of times even curate playlists that they'll play on Sonos Radio of music or artists that have inspired them in their musical artistry, let's say. So tons of exclusive content, 10 additional radio channels available on Sonos Radio HD. Everything is ad free. Our featured radio stations. I can't speak for, if you listen to 107.3, you're still going to hear radio, whatever advertisements they have. But from our radio stations, it's an ad free experience. And we do offer a skip feature on this as well. Some of those additional radio stations are, listed here, and they're Sonos exclusives. I mentioned listening to classical music. I was excited when I signed up for Sonos Radio HD and saw this full symphony, which brings a different experience to my work day, right? So just a lot of really cool stuff going on with Sonos Radio HD. Now, listening to music, you have a couple different ways to do that. We have our free services like Sonos Radio, Pandora, SoundCloud. Don't feel like just because you purchase Sonos, you have to pay for a streaming service. If the service you like is Pandora and you like using the free tier, use the free tier of Pandora on Sonos. You pay for our speakers, you pay for Paulson to install it for you maybe, and that's it. You don't pay us anything on the back end unless you pay for Sonos Radio HD. There's direct control, so you can directly control your audio from your phone. Maybe you're watching your favorite YouTube video, you can stream that over to your Sonos. And you can even play music from a locally stored drive, like a network drive. So maybe you've spent decades building up your library, and you store it all on a network drive, and you can access that through Sonos, and you can listen to that music wirelessly through your home. And of course, paid services like Spotify, Deezer Elite, Tidal for FLAC files, you name it, YouTube Music, you name it, we've got it. Okay, so we spent all this time and effort making sure that we give customers access to as much music as possible, because music really does matter. But we wanted to make sure, I guess you could say, we wanted to prove that. We knew that music mattered to us, but we wanted to make sure it mattered to our end users. So in 2019, we did a quantitative study, and we asked 12,000 Sonos users from across the globe, just basically give us your experience. Tell us about your experience listening to music versus not listening to music. And we found some really cool information, based on that survey. We found that people chose social occasions based on what music was playing. We found that people wanted to learn more about other cultures. But some of this, what I loved from this survey is that families spent more time together. Families said, "I love you" more. Families ate dinner together more. Families, played games together more. Families spent more time outdoors together. Music really did make families' houses your homes, right? And there is something to be said about that, especially in this time when we're all, a lot of us are spending way more time in our homes than we normally would. Um, you know, Having music inside of the home can change the atmosphere of the home, and set a different atmosphere. Like, for example, maybe you're listening to Italian music. My wife and I were making a pizza a few weeks back, and we had Italian music playing, right, while we were making some pizza and pasta. And then maybe you have some speakeasy music while you're having a beverage after dinner or something like that, right? Like, you can change the atmosphere inside of your home and just do so many different things. So music really does matter. And at Sonos, we wanted to make sure, again, it's as easy as possible to listen to. Now, I do want to make a quick mention on commercial space. I know we're talking about the home a lot, but for any of you that might own a business or know somebody who owns a business, it's incredibly important to have commercially licensed music in that business. ASCAP can, find a couple hundred to a couple $1,000s per track, and up to $150,000 if it's deemed that someone knows that they were supposed to be listening or using commercially licensed music. And it's a big deal. We even have solutions for commercially licensed music that offer all sorts of features. Really cool experience. Check that out. You can find more information at sonos.com/business. You can find out more about our commercial music partners and see which one might fit you or somebody you know's business best. So that being said, music is incredibly important at Sonos, in the home, in the commercial space, whatever it is. We give you access to tons and tons and tons of music. So what are we going to listen to this music through? We have a lot of different products here at Sonos, and we want to take just a very, a brief amount of time talking about all of these. We're going to keep it incredibly high level, but we want you to know that regardless of the experience you're looking for, we have a speaker or a product that can fill that need. Let's start with the Sonos Move. The Sonos Move is our portable battery-powered speaker that lets you take your music on the go. It's ultra durable, which means it can take a little bit of a beating, and it's rated against weather, so rain and snow, even fine particles, so you can take it to the beach or the lake if you'd like to. The Sonos Move is designed with somebody wanting to take it outside in mind at the end of the day. It has up to 11 hours of battery life. So, you can listen to music from the time your friends come over for a barbecue until they leave way later than you expected them to. The Sonos Move is, going to have voice assistants built into it. So you can use your favorite voice assistant to control your music playback or your smart home. Perfect for when everybody's in the pool and you don't want to get out to have to change the track or, pause or whatever. So the Sonos Move is that portable speaker. Worth noting, the Sonos Move is also our only speaker with Bluetooth in it. So, it works on Wi-Fi just like any other Sonos speaker, but when you want to take it with you on the go, press the button on the back, switches it over to Bluetooth, and now you have a Bluetooth speaker with you where there's no Wi-Fi. Our next one speaks the Sonos 5. The Sonos 5 is perfect for, remember earlier I was talking about that lean in listening where you want to hear those details and nuances in the sound? Well, that's where Sonos 5 comes into play. It's also great for anybody who wants to use Sonos in like a big open floor plan. You want big sound and a big space. The Sonos 5 is great for that. Also great for anybody who likes, music with just really deep bass. That's also where the Sonos 5 comes into play. If you really want to take it to the next level, stereo pair your speakers. Two Sonos 5s, you can have them stereo paired. So one's a dedicated right channel and one's a dedicated left channel. So you have much wider sound stage, greater detailed separation in the sound. And you can really take your listening to the next level. Add a sub to it. It'll just melt. That used to be my setup in my listening room at my old house. I called it my tune room. So, take your listening to the ultimate level with the Sonos 5s and Sonos 5 stereo paired. But again, this is that speaker for those, that lean in listening, open floor plans. It's the party starter speaker. But you're not always looking for a big speaker that's going to melt your face, right? And that's where the Sonos One comes in. The Sonos One is a powerful smart speaker that gives you crystal clear sound, but it's out of a small package. It's a little bit bigger than a mason jar, so it fits in the office. It fits in the kitchen. I have one right on top of my refrigerator. It fits in the bathroom. Anywhere where you want crystal clear sound, but you're not looking to take up a ton of space on the countertop, that's where the Sonos One comes into play. Sonos One supports AirPlay too, just like all of our other products. And it has the voice mics built into it for Google Assistant or Amazon Alexa. Taking a look at the Sonos One SL, it is virtually the exact same as the Sonos One. But for all of you voice assistant skeptics out there, which I totally get, we do have the One SL available for you, which does not have the voice mics built into it. So if you don't want those microphones, you do not have to have those microphones built into the speaker. This is also great for our home theater products to use as surround sounds, seeing as all of our home theater products have voice assistants built into them. So the Sonos One SL, the same scenario you would want a Sonos One, you would want a Sonos L acoustic, One SL acoustically. It's just that the Sonos One SL does not have the voice mics. All right, let's talk about our home theater products. Now, when we were designing our home theater products, we were always a music company, right? And we started with amplifiers and preamps, if you will, for lack of a better term. We had our Sonos 5, Play 5, we had the Play 3, and we thought to ourselves, people, there are a lot of scenarios where people watching their TV also want that speaker to be able to play music, right? Nowadays, you and I just think like, well, yeah, duh, people play music out of their soundbars. But in 2012, it was a little bit different of a world back then. Soundbars were just starting to take off, and they were being used. Some of them had Bluetooth in them, and they were big and clunky, and you know they weren't an incredible experience. They were focused on home theater with an afterthought of music, where we wanted to take the approach of music is just important in these home theater products as the actual home theater sound. And so, we've adapted and come out with new home theater products, but the mission is the same. Give you home theater products that are going to fill your space with great TV audio, but also be great for your music. In fact, when it comes to designing all of our products, even our home theater products, we have a council of uh, I want to say advocates. It's not advocates, but advisors is the word I'm looking for. We have advisors that we literally sit down with them and ask them, hey, is this is your content, you created this. I mean, we're talking top level producers and musicians, and we ask them, hey, is this the way that you wanted this to sound? And they critique our products and they say, no, that's not the way I wanted this to sound. This should sound like it's over here, that should sound like it's over there. And we go back and we tweak the acoustics of our products to make sure that you get brilliant sound the way the artist originally intended it, not the way that we want you to hear it. So we take that same philosophy on important music audio in great sounding home theater package. Starting with the Sonos Arc. The Sonos Arc is, sort of think of this as our premium soundbar experience. This is going to deliver 3D sound with Dolby Atmos. And, it's going to deliver that sphere of sound around you. So you're going to hear, of course, the surround sounds that are built in, but this adds those height channels, those top firing speakers to really immerse you in whatever it is that you're watching. Now, Dolby Atmos is a great technology. There are some caveats to getting Dolby Atmos and Paulson's. Any questions you have about that, Paulson's can make sure to get you the right solution in your space. But, this is, if you have Dolby Atmos compatible television and you're watching Dolby Atmos content, I mean, you are going to have a face melting experience with the Sonos Arc. And what's great about the Sonos Arc is it can be true play tuned to perfection. True play tuning is our proprietary technology that lets you tune your Sonos speaker to the specific environment of the room so you can get the most out of your Dolby Atmos experience with the Sonos Arc. The Sonos Arc and all of our home theater products have our speech enhancement mode, which is nice because, we've all been in those scenarios where, you can hear the volume's fine from your soundbar, but you just can't really hear what they're saying. Other noise is drowning out what they're saying. Well, the speech enhancement mode turns up just the center channel. So you can hear crystal clear dialogue without turning up the entire soundbar. And our night sound mode tempers the frequency response, so you don't get any jolts of sound and that are going to wake up the kids or your significant other. But when you do want that epic sound, the Sonos Arc delivers 11 speakers, 11 Class D digital amplifiers, means you are going to get a ton of sound out of the Sonos Arc. I'm going to pause there because Emily, I saw you just pop back up.
Yeah, hi. So one thing to just mention on the Arc, I have so many movies that I love that cinematically are incredibly dynamic sound-wise, and it drives me nuts because I have to sit there with my remote in my hand, turning it up, turning it down, turning it up, turning it down, especially at night, like you said, when my kids are asleep. So my husband has his eyes set on the Arc, and we can't wait to get one. And so then I don't have to sit there watching Lord of the Rings with a remote in my hand the whole time. But we did have a couple questions in the chat box, so that was why I paused.
Okay, cool.
So one was, do these products offer analog outputs so I can run this through my large system if I wanted?
We'll get there.
Okay, fair enough.
The Sonos Arc does not. The Sonos 5 has an auxiliary line in on the back of it, but that specific person that asked that question, we got a product for you.
All right, Neil, listen in. Matt'll make sure he lets you know about that. The other one came from Strat. He asked, can Sonos first generation play with new generation players in party mode? So different generations of products play nice together.
That's a really great question. So that kind of brings up a broader conversation around our
Okay.
S1 versus S2 software update. So no, any S1 only compatible products cannot be grouped with our S2 products. Worth noting, the only products that are S1 compatible. What's up, Nikki D?
Hey,
Also known as
Nick.
my boy Goose.
Hey everyone, sorry for the tardiness.
It's okay. We're running the ship, but you're here to smooth it out.
Okay. Nick, you're the sail to my ship. Okay, so with that being said, so no, the short answer to your question is no. Those are only a couple of products though. There's very old ZP90, ZP100, ZP120s, which are old connect amps, basically made before 2015, but most of those are made even before that. And then our Play 5 Gen 1 and old controllers, like the really old controllers from like 2009 or 2007. So really that's, I mean, a lot of people ask like, hey, can my play bar work? Yeah, play bar is still an S2 product. Play 1 is still Play 3 is still an S2 product. So keep that in mind. When kind of thinking in that world. But the reason for that is because of the hardware inside of those products. We got to the point where it's like, man, we really want to push the boundaries. We really want to innovate. We want to do new and cool things. One of those, which we'll actually talk about here in a little bit, but we can't because the processing power in these speakers, it's just not there. Right? Think of your cell phone from 2007 running the same software for your phone that you purchased within the last 6 months, right? We wouldn't expect our old phones to be able to run that software. Where that's kind of the same situation we found ourselves in with Sonos. Is, man, we really want to continue to push the boundaries and do new stuff, but we just can't. So that, hopefully that adds some context to why we launched the S2 platform. It's not like we were like, hey, we want to like make a bunch of people just buy a bunch of our new products. It really came from a place of we want to make new cool products and do new cool things, but we can't in this current in our current platform. So yeah, that's the long version, the long answer to that question.
Well, and you guys are kind enough to not have to make us upgrade every year like our cell phones do. So,
Yeah.
so that's nice. We had one more question come in, if you don't mind. If there are generation incompatibilities, when do you expect Gen 3?
No news right now on Gen 3. I mean, really, if you think about it, our product that's our latest product that's really impacted by the S1, S2 platform is like 2009. And we just launched the S1, S2 this last year. I honestly, that's so far into the future that's not even something that, I mean, I'm sure the people that need to be worrying about that at our company are, thinking about that, but it's nothing that is even, trickled down my way. And if that's the case, I mean, I can't imagine it's going to happen anytime soon.
Well, thanks,
And
Matt.
No official word.
if it makes you feel better too, one of the things that we have publicly stated, and by we, I mean Patrick Spence, our CEO, he has also stated when this whole transition and switch happened to S1 to S2, one, we are committed to pushing these products as far as they possibly will go. Like Matt said, like 2009, the first products that were launched were before the first iPhone. Like a computer would never last that long, and these are essentially computers. But our promise is to all Sonos users is a product will at minimum be supported for at least 5 years after the end of sale. So, Playbar was introduced in 2013 and just got discontinued in 2020. So at minimum, Playbar, even if you bought it in 2013, would be supported all the way up to at minimum. Again, this isn't like a 5-year hard cut or stop, but that is the goal of the engineers as they're looking forward to make sure that there is a longevity play with these speakers, because we know it's a great investment, and it is the first of its kind in terms of whole home audio. So.
That's awesome, Nick. Thank you. And just a couple notes on that. You guys are going to be talking about some other innovations that you're able to do with existing products, like the dual sub option and things like that, which you're listening to your clients, you're responding to what they're looking for, which is awesome. And I know that's something that we love to demo here in the store. People have been asking about for a long time. And then the last thing I'll mention before I let you pick back up, Matt, is the Sonos trade up. So we have some really great opportunities. If you have some Sonos products that are older, or that you just saw the new ones and you're excited and you want to get something different, we have opportunities to upgrade you and give you some discounts on that, and to recycle your old products. So we have full details on that at our showroom. You can always call us. And then as far as the S1, S2 stuff, Sonos is great about putting things on their website that make it easy to understand where your products live within the scheme of things. So with any of those things, we at Paulson's can help. And Matt, I'll let you take back over.
All right. All right. Yeah. Real quick, just to that point, I mean, I can't think of another brand that says, hey, trade in your 15-year-old product and we will give you, electronic brand will say, we'll give you, a percentage off, a substantial percentage off the product you're upgrading to. Right. So, we really, really don't want this to be oh man, Sonos is out to get me. We want this to be hey, like, I understand Sonos has computers and, they're doing their best to kind of smooth out a rough situation that we all just kind of find ourselves in with technology in general, right? So, okay, so back to the Sonos Arc, 11 speakers, 11 Class D digital amplifiers, epic home theater experience. Paulson's can mount it on your wall for you. You can use any mount really that you'd like that fits the Sonos Arc. However, if you use our specific mount, which Paulson's does sell, it has these sensors that are really good friends with the sensors on the back of Sonos Arc. That's right, sensors built into the actual bracket that sense when you have an Arc mounted to it, and it puts the Arc into on wall mode, which slightly tempers the bass response, so that it doesn't shake your wall, and it does some really other cool things acoustically as well. So keep that in mind, and that's not even including the true play tuning. Then Paulson's can true play tune it for you as well. And just like any other Sonos system, I like to call it electronic Lego because you can build your Sonos system as fast or as slow as you like to build it. Maybe you want to start off with a full, home theater set, the Sonos Arc, some surround sounds, the Sonos 5. You can do that. Or Sonos 5, the Sonos Sub, you can do that. Maybe you just want to start off with the Arc and the Sub. Maybe you just want to start off with the Arc and the surrounds. You can do that. And then, you can call Paulson's whenever you're ready, or head to Paulson's whenever you're ready, and you can purchase, other Sonos speakers to scatter throughout the rest of your house. So, we really make it easy. Again, when we talk about, brilliant sound your way, well, your part of your way is building this system the way you want to build it, as fast or as slow as you want to build it as well. So, keep that in mind with all of our products. Next, we have the Sonos Beam, which is the perfect complement to, for those secondary TVs, right? Your master bedroom, your den room, your den TV, maybe, the kids' playroom, those TVs where you want better sound, but you're not looking for that big epic home theater experience. You just want to get better sound out of your television. Well, that's where the Sonos Beam comes into play. It also has voice assistance built into it, so you can use that if you'd like. And it does have a dedicated center channel for, really crystal clear dialogue. You can bond our subwoofer to it, which we'll talk about here in a second. You can add surrounds to it if you want. So this is really the perfect companion for those smaller televisions that, maybe you're not looking for just a big epic home theater experience, but you want something that's going to tie in with the rest of your Sonos system. All right, next is the Sonos Sub. This is a great way to add deep soul-shaking bass to any one of our products, except for the Sonos Move and the Sonos Port, which we'll talk about here in a second. The Sonos Sub it has 2 force canceling drivers. So you're going to get just great bass response without, having any sort of cabinet rattle. We've designed it so it can stand up the way it is in this picture, or you can lay it down flat under your couch or in a TV stand or something like that if you want to. Sounds crazy. I've seen it before, and it actually looks kind of cool. So, Sub is designed to, to really give you powerful bass, but to not take up a lot of room. And it's, you have some different options here as far as where you place it as well, right? And the cool thing about Sub, as I mentioned, is it works with all of our products, so you can really add the low end frequency. What's awesome is, we've talked about how our speakers, they're all computers. That's why we're able to do a lot of the things that we do. And one of the coolest things is different speakers, different products will send different frequencies to the Sonos Sub. So no matter what product you have, you are going to notice a richer, fuller sound, because instead of the mid-range in the tweeters making those mid and high range frequencies, it says, okay, I can send these frequencies that I was producing, I can send those lower frequencies to the subwoofer, which frees up the mid-range speakers and tweeters to make the sound that they are supposed to make. So regardless of the product you bond Sub to, you're going to get richer, fuller sound out of that product. And by popular demand, We back in December launched our dual sub software update. That's right. And this is just one of many things that I was talking about. We want to do new cool things, but we can't because our hardware is limiting us. Well, this is one of those new cool things. You can now do dual subs wirelessly with any of our home theater products. What do I mean by home theater products? I mean Sonos Arc, Sonos Beam, Sonos Amp. And if you have them set up in a home theater configuration, you can have that second sub experience. This is an awesome update for you, the end user, right? And some scenarios you might want dual sub. You might want dual sub if you have a large or oddly shaped room. Let's say you have a massive area, and you have the Sonos Arc. You want a big home theater sound, and you want that with sub. You want to really feel the low end. Well, the nice thing about having two subs is one can be set up on one end of the room, the other can be set up on the other side, and you get more evenly dispersed bass response. You can place two of them right next to each other if you want. Have them on either side of the credenza if you want. You can talk to Paulson's and see what is going to be the best solution. Maybe you want them both up by the television and you're not that far from the television. You just love bass and you want to just feel it in your chest when helicopters explode and heart pounding music in the middle of an action scene. That's the type of experience you can get with that second sub. The only caveat here is it does have to have one Gen 3 subwoofer. So one of our subwoofers that we launched Gen 3 sub back in I believe May or June. It's all a blur at this point. But as long as you have one Gen 3 subwoofer, you could have bought a sub the day our first subwoofer launched in 2012, and that could be your second sub. It just one of the subs on that setup has to be a Gen 3 subwoofer. So keep that in mind. So that was a feature that our customers have been asking for such a long time. And because of our S2 platform, we are now able to launch this. We are now able to support this. So, okay, architectural sound. This is one of the coolest ways to have Sonos, in my opinion, because what's up, Emily?
Hey, somebody just asked real quick about the subs. Are the crossover frequencies adjustable?
The crossover frequencies are not adjustable.
Okay.
All right. So, thank you for that question. So well, I could get in the long version of that answer, but I'll keep it moving so I don't lose track of my thought here. But basically, no, our speakers are very, very smart at delivering the crossover that needs to happen to the sub. And that's one of the reasons actually sub won't bond to certain products, is because they can't control crossover appropriately. We can get into that in the Q&A if we'd like, though. Okay, so architectural sound. Now, this is one of the funnest ways, in my opinion, to experience Sonos, because there's such a wide range of experiences and solutions that you can have with our architectural products. The first thing we're going to talk about is the Sonos amp. The Sonos amp is designed to plug in directly to any passive speakers that you want to plug it into. So your in ceilings, your in walls, your outdoor speakers, your favorite pair of bookshelf speakers, your favorite pair of tower speakers can be powered by the Sonos amp. It delivers 125 watts per channel at 8 ohms. And its peak is 250 watts at 4 ohms. I mean, this is an amplifier that's going to power a lot of the speakers that you are going to want to power it with. It supports AirPlay 2, gives you access. It basically turns your passive speakers into Sonos streaming speakers. So maybe you already have a pair of patio speakers and you want the Sonos experience with those patio speakers. The Sonos amp is a perfect solution for that, right? Now, the Sonos amp can also be used in home theater for a 4.0 or a 4.1 experience. As you see this so much used on outdoor spaces with, patio setups and 2-channel audio. This is a great product for that. Next is the Sonos port. Neil, this one's for you. So let's say you already have a home theater system or, really epic, receiver amplifier, and you want to be able to get the Sonos experience on that system you already have. Well, that's where the Sonos port comes into play. The Sonos port is going to plug into your receiver or amplifier and teach that receiver or amplifier how to stream Sonos music. So you can go into the Sonos app, press play, and start listening to your music through the surround sound system you already have. The other option is you can plug you could plug a source into the Sonos port. It has analog in, and by the way, actually the Sonos amp has analog in as well. So you can plug in, say, a CD changer or a turntable. Worth noting with the port, you may need a phono preamp. Some of the newer turntables have that preamp built in, but it's something to keep in mind. But you plug that source into the Sonos port, and then you can have that playing throughout the rest of your Sonos speakers wirelessly if you want. So Neil, this one's for you. If you have an existing system, the Sonos port will get that existing system onto your Sonos system. All right, next let's talk about Sonos by Sonance. These speakers are speakers that we designed, really with the idea that, what kind of experience could we deliver if, the speakers knew what amp was powering it and the amplifier knew what speakers it was powering. Think of these speakers as a Sonance, chassis with a Sonos engine. They're designed to be, incredible speakers, but to give you some of the flavor of Sonos, right? So for starters, one of the unique benefits of these, you can run 3 pairs of these off of one Sonos amp. Typically, we only recommend 2 speakers on one amp. These are designed to run continuously at 2 ohms with the Sonos amp. The other benefit is a custom DSP. The amplifier, and Paulson's can get this set up for you, where the amplifier knows which specific speaker it's powering, outdoors, in walls, or in ceilings, and it creates a DSP that is for that specific speaker. I mean, it's a little anecdotal here, but I remember I first listened to the in-ceiling speakers were the first models that I heard. And I remember listening to them thinking, all right, these sound fine. They sound like in-ceiling speakers. And then I adjusted it to know that it was being powered by the Sonos amp. My jaw hit the floor at how much better these sounded when they knew they were being powered by the Sonos amp. I mean, it was incredible. And what's really cool is the in-wall and in-ceiling models can both be true play tuned. So you can get true play tuning accuracy out of, for that specific room, out of your architectural speakers. So keep these in mind. These are very specific models. They're not just any Sonance models. So those are products that we do have as well. The next thing we want to talk about here is continuity of control. We talked about brilliant sound your way earlier, and this is one of the biggest ways that we deliver on that promise is, giving you the ability to control Sonos the way you want to control it. So of course there's the Sonos app, which is our one-stop shop for all things control, room grouping, individual volume control or group volume control, what speakers are doing what. That can all be done through the Sonos app. I mean, I've been here since 2013, and this is still my favorite way to control Sonos and my music. Again, not trying to high five you here, just trying to focus my camera in. Unless you're Nick Dolansky, then I am trying to high five you. So thanks. So we have the Sonos app, of course, but then there's direct control. So direct control is from some of our, these partners that we have here up on the slide. And maybe you don't want to learn a new app. Once Sonos is initially set up, you can use direct control. Example, my wife uses direct control. She knows how to use the Spotify app. She prefers to use it. Plus I'm on beta, so my Sonos app updates it feels like 5 times a week sometimes. So it's one of those things where, you could just use the Spotify app, press the speaker button down on the bottom, choose the Sonos speaker you want to stream your music to, and that's it. It's that easy to use. So we do offer direct control with some of our partners, and of course, we would like to add that feature to other partners in the future. We also have our touch control feature. So our touch control, built into every one of our products, we have touch control. So if you want to turn the volume up, skip track, play pause, you can even group speakers holding down the play pause button for a few seconds. You can do that pressing the physical buttons. If you don't want to have your phone tied to your hip all the time, or if you're like me and you just forget where it is 90% of the time, you can control your Nick's nodding his head because he knows it's true. You can control your Sonos that way. There's also voice control. You can use Google Assistant or Amazon Alexa with our products. And, there's a couple of different ways to do that. As you may have heard, some of our products have voice assistants built in, but not all of our products. Maybe you have a Sonos 5 or a Sonos amp or port that doesn't have those voice microphones built in. Well, if you have a Google Assistant or Alexa product, you can tie our products in with their apps and use our products to listen to music. So, you could say, Alexa, play, this in the kitchen, and your Sonos speaker named Kitchen will start playing music, right? So that's a really cool way to experience voice assistance with Sonos. But whether you want to use it built in or our Works with integration, you can do that. Now, worth noting, when you are controlling your music, you have to, if you want to start music with your voice, you have to be using a streaming service that is supported with that voice assistant. It's very important. I mentioned earlier that I listen to Sonos Radio HD a lot when I'm working. Well, I can't say, hey, G, play Sunset Fuzz in my office because Sonos Radio is not supported by Google Assistant. But once I get Sonos Radio started, I can then say, hey, G, skip track in the office. Hey, G, play pause in the office. Resume the music in the office, right? Like you can still control the music and the playback. You just can't start the music unless that voice assistant supports that music service. So keep that in mind when you want to enjoy music using your voice. And also note that, Sonos really becomes, with voice assistants, it becomes the sound platform for your smart home, right? You have your voice built into Sonos or using that to control Sonos, but the voice assistants built into Sonos isn't just going to control your music. It can control your smart thermostats, your lighting, your door locks, your security systems. I have a smart garage door opener. I tell my Sonos Arc before I leave, hey, I'm leaving, and it tells me the weather for the day, and it opens my garage door for me. Or I can just simply say, hey, I forgot to close the garage door. I'm already upstairs. I can just say, hey, G, close my garage door, and my garage door closes, right? So, and then when I want to listen to music, conveniently, I have voice assistants everywhere that I would also want to listen to music. So, our products are really the voice assistant for somebody who loves music and wants a great music experience. Okay, rounding third and headed home here. Let's talking about setting up Sonos. What you should expect, from a conversation with Paulson's, and what that might look like getting Sonos in your home if you don't already have it. You have two ways to set up Sonos. The first way is on Wi-Fi, right? So you can have up to 32 speakers all playing the same thing at the exact same time on your Wi-Fi. But there's a $100 accessory called the Sonos Boost, and that plugs directly into your router. Now, here's the difference. Sometimes you might have a dead zone in your house, or you might just have a space in your home where your Wi-Fi signal isn't great. Maybe it's a dead zone, maybe there's some interference, and you just don't get a great connection. Well, the Boost plugs into your router, and it creates that dedicated Sonos mesh network that all of our speakers receive and repeat, which means you get a more reliable streaming experience, so you can continue to enjoy your music without lag or dropout. Again, not always needed, but it's something worth noting that it may be if you have a dead zone in your network. Now, I should, put a little caveat here that if you're having Paulson's install your network, or if you're installing a mesh network in your home or already have one, those do it just fine controlling controlling bandwidth distribution and filling dead zones. So you probably don't need a Sonos Boost. But there may be some sort of extensive situation where you might need one, but in a mesh router system you probably don't. So keep that in mind. Any questions about that, ask me, or ask the team at Paulson's, and they'll be able to answer that for you. Okay, on the back end, how do we support you when your music may go awry? Well, we give you outage notifications. Usually with Sonos, there's one of two things. If there are issues, it's not common, but if there are, it's either normally a network situation where you're not getting a good signal or there's some sort of interference, or there's an outage with that actual streaming service. It's not even with Sonos really. So we will give you an outage notification letting you know, hey, you're trying to pull from Spotify, just to let you know Spotify is actually having an issue right now. A few months back, my buddy actually I sent him a website. It's status.sonos.com, where you can check and see all of the streaming services and their status. He's going to listen to Spotify, and Spotify wasn't working. I get a message from him that says, dude, Spotify's not working. Or it wasn't working on Sonos. So I looked it up on the website. Sure enough, it's out right now. So, you can, before you start thinking like, oh, my Sonos is messed up, things aren't working, it might just be an outage with that streaming service, and we'll get you back. That streaming service will be back online as soon as possible. You can even check this history of, what services may have been out at status.sonos.com/history. So, keep in mind that, we do our best to make sure that you have access to all of these streaming services, but sometimes streaming services, they go down, and, we want to do our best to make sure that you are in the loop on that. So you're not sitting here wondering what in the world is is going on with my music. So, all right, that's everything we have. We'd love to open it up to Q&A and answer, any more questions that you might have about our products or, about anything that we talked about here today.
Great, thank you guys so much. Right now we have one question in the chat, and I welcome everybody to drop any others that they've thought of. One is the voice assistant always on?
Oh, that's a really good question. We take privacy very seriously, and that's not just like a tech industry buzzword for us, that we really mean that. So one of the things when we were designing our first ever speaker, the Sonos one, with voice assistants, one of the precautions we took is we hardwired the microphone directly into the LED light that shows that the microphone's on. So what that means is mics on, lights on, mics off, lights off. And there's no way around that, right? So let's say Billy Joe Hacker hacks into your network, turns your microphone on. You will know your microphone is on because that light is also on. There's no way for anybody to tamper with that, because it's a physical feature inside of the speaker. Somebody would have to go in and redesign your speaker to do that, right? So there's a little microphone button on top of our speakers. You press that button and the microphone turns off. In fact, Google just added a feature where it actually will tell you that the microphone's off in many cases. And then you press that button again, and the microphone turns right back on.
Awesome. Yeah, I know in my house, I've got a couple of Sonos speakers that, we have them hooked up to some smart outlets and things like that. So my husband goes, turn off the whole basement at the end of the day. He says, Alexa, turn off plug one, and, Sonos hears it and the plug hears it. And it's nice because we have that flexibility, but if we ever wanted that off, we could do that, which is nice.
I think it's worth noting too, with the microphone, like if you're interested, you're like, man, Sonos Arc is the product for me, but I'm not a huge fan of the smart assistant, the voice built in. You don't have to use it. There won't be any voice assistant set up unless you specifically set it up and link it. Like it has to be linked to your Google account, your Amazon Echo account. You have to make that conscious decision. So the mic isn't by default on. That light is by default off until you say otherwise. And there's a lot of steps through it. There's no way you'll accidentally set up a voice assistant. I can promise you that.
Such a good call out, Nick. Such a good call out.
Yeah, absolutely. And those are all things, of course, that if we're helping you set those things up, we can, ask you those questions and help you set up the experience and the functionality that you're looking for, especially around, privacy and day-to-day usage. Dan, did you have anything to add or any questions you wanted to pose to the guys that are commonly asked?
It's the second question, performance to 5. Maybe you guys can, tease us and do our fans a favor. You guys have anything new coming this year? I mean, I'm sure you can't tell us, but, maybe give us some insights, some unofficial announcements. I know you won't, don't mean to put you on the spot, but we're all excited to see new products from you guys. Every time you release something, it lights the world on fire, and the Move has been selling like crazy. Sonos Arcs, I mean, we can't keep them in stock. So I know, just like our clients, I'm a customer too. I own a lot of Sonos products, and I look forward to whatever you guys may be bringing one day. So appreciate it.
Ooh, nose goes, Nick, you're it.
Yeah, so the world famous line from Sonos, we cannot comment on any potential future products. However, it has been publicly stated that we will launch at least 2 new products or items a year. And so far, nothing new has happened yet, right? So, it's no secret if anyone logs into Sonos.com right now, there is an announcement that will be coming out on March 9th. The Paulson's team is one of our platinum partners, so they will definitely be in the know and ready to assist when something may or may not happen, right?
We look forward to that.
All right. We did have another question just pop in from Stephen. Are you having any issues with the current electronic shortages? That's one of the hottest questions all week on all of our sessions, because we've all been dealing with these things.
Yep. I mean, I'll handle that one too, because Dan and I are on a weekly chat, and I update them on anything that comes in. So long story short, yes, we're no different than any other electronic manufacturer, and that's not even just in the audio world. That's appliances are back ordered, furniture is back ordered, everything's back ordered. So COVID kind of threw a wrench in it. And the Arc has been one of the most popular products we've ever put out, and it's also one of the more complicated pieces. As you can tell, it's much larger than the others. So that I'd say that's probably the best way to put it. But we are in the same boat as everybody else out there.
I will also say that we have the capability to either through our website, through our new shop section, or by calling or stopping into the store. If you want an ARC and we don't have them in stock, we're happy to reserve those things. We are getting shipments on a semi-regular basis. So a lot of our clients have said, hey, I know that it's going to be a little bit, but I just want to get my name on the in the list, on the line, all that. So we're always happy to make sure that your stuff is coming. It's just a matter of timeline. So I appreciate you guys sharing about that, because that's definitely, obviously that's all around the world. There's all kinds of industries that have been impacted by COVID. So, well, Nick, Matt, unless you have anything else, I will pause for a moment, then I'll do my housekeeping.
No, the only thing I have to say is thank you for listening to me talk my face off for the last hour. Really appreciate you hanging out with us here, and we hope you, if you have Sonos, you agree with me that we take music very seriously, and that we're passionate about music. If you don't have Sonos, we hope that you'll give listening to music through Sonos a try.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah,
Cool.
And go see Paulson's. They've got the coolest Sonos display around.
For sure. And if you found the information that Matt was sharing around how music impacts our mood and our productivity and things like that, I shared a really awesome blog post that kind of looks back on 2020 that comes from the Sonos blog. I shared that just today on all of our social media platforms. So be sure to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, all of those, because it's a really nice in-depth article, and it gives you not only a peek into how Sonos feels about music, but their culture, and that they care about humanity. So that's something that makes our relationship even stronger, because they care about us as people. So couple things. So we have virtual sessions all week. If you're a registered participant, which you should be, we will be getting an email from me personally every night this week with the session information for the following day, so that you can plug that into your calendar. We have Macintosh tomorrow. We have a couple other brands on Thursday and on Fridays. We've got dual duty both of those days. So lots of great things to see. Every session you attend gets you entered into our giveaway, which includes a Sonos Move from our friends at Sonos. So that durable indoor, outdoor, all-weather Bluetooth wireless awesome speaker. It does everything except wash your dishes and do your laundry. You can get the Sonos Move just by attending sessions and learning and having fun with us. So we also have a Sonance Patio Series outdoor audio system and a Bowers & Wilkins custom vinyl set. So we have some really great prizes. If you are registered, you can stop in all week to pick up your amenity box. This has a bunch of great gifts and items from our team at Paulson's and our brand partners. It also has some special discounts inside that will extend for you until the middle of March for being a registered participant. So special discounts for our guests only. So yeah, stop in to get your amenity box, see the special discounts we have that we can't promote online, get demos of all these great products, especially, we have the Sonos Experience Center, which is really, really unique. So we'd love to give you a tour in that private setting. Of course, masks, sanitizers, distancing, all those things are happening in the showroom. So if you're comfortable to visit us, please do. We'd love to see you. And thank you again so much, Matt, Nick, always a pleasure to have you guys. I know our clients love you. We love you. We appreciate you. Dan Paulson, anything from you before we sign off for the day?
Nope, just want to say thank you everybody for attending. Newman and Nick, of course, as always, you guys rocked it. And we look forward to helping all of our clients if and when you guys have questions. Thank you very much.
Great. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and we hope to see you on another session this week.
Thank you.